story. Today's story is number 46. Okay, Estefania, would you like to go?
I was going to ask Vita, would you like me to read?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Okay, chapter 46, Sticking to a Single Path in Life. One night, a mouse fell into a bucket. At first, he tried mightily to jump out, but the bucket was deep, the task hopeless. Next, he tried to gnaw a hole in the side of the bucket, but the wood proved too hard and too thick for him to gnaw through. Giving up, he moved frantically to another place and tried gnawing there for a while, but the results were the same. Again, he gave up and tried. He tried a different spot. The stout wood was impervious to his efforts. After gnawing in vain all night long, toward dawn, worn out in body and spirit, the mouse collapsed and died. If only he had kept gnawing at the same spot the whole time, he might have gnawed all the way through and escaped. The world is full of people who cannot afford to laugh at the story of the hapless mouse. Failing at one job, they try another and fail again, changing their job over and over. Such people may be called weak-willed, yet weakness is a general human failing. Sticking to a single path in life is hard to do. It requires a will of steel and ceaseless effort. The more you waver, the more your life's efforts go to waste. Since this is the case, the thing to do is weigh your options carefully to begin with. Make a careful decision and carry it through with firm and unremitting effort. The entrance to a commuter train at rush hour can be so crowded that it seems impossible to squeeze another person on board. Yet if you push on through, you'll often find there is plenty of room further in. No one should ever despair because the entrance to his or her chosen career path is clogged. There is an ancient saying, the persistent drip wears through stone. I want to repeat that last phrase. The persistent drip wears through stone. It's interesting because the story speaks about our efforts being unwavering in a sense of having that effort of pushing through with such a clear vision of our career path or of that one path that we're looking towards. However, in reading this at the end, the persistent drip wears through stone. It's interesting that this phrase is at the end because water is actually quite it's quite yielding. It's formless. So wherever it goes, it finds form. And in its own way, by yielding, such as one of our belief systems, by yielding onto, whatever, if this is stone, I'm thinking of a glass, it takes the shape, but it doesn't necessarily become the glass. It's still water. And if I were to pour that water out of the glass and onto the floor, it takes another form. And still, it can be so powerful in its yielding way that if it continues to drip through stone, eventually it'll go through. And so I find that very interesting, and I'm completely open to anyone else's interpretation on this, because it seems like we can choose one path and have the persistence to push through and continue, but that doesn't necessarily mean we have to be hard or push through in a energy giving way, if that's the right phrase, but rather become like water and find form or interact with our environment or our path as we move along it, whatever challenge may come up, move like water so that we are able to, I want to rephrase that and maybe not push through, but flow through whatever those challenges or obstacles may feel like. So similar to the people being pushed into into this or squeezing onto this train, not so much that we're pushing against them, but rather we're in form with them, in dance with the people there. And so I'm open to anybody's reflection on this.
Okay, very good point. Thank you, Estefania, for reading and sharing with us. Yeah, so, when people just keep changing their minds and quit so quickly, they're not being like that water to just sit with it and just work its way through. Yeah, so they kind of they are too rash and they're like, oh, it's not bringing a result. So they just change direction. And then this attitude goes with them to any other direction. So obviously it's not going to pay off because the attitude is impatience and yeah, lack of perseverance. Yeah, that's a very good point. Thank you. Anybody else wants to share with us? Okay, very good. So it's important to first find out what we want to do in life. So it's okay to take our time. It's okay to change different careers, move to different countries while we are getting to know who we are. There's nothing wrong with that, gaining self-knowledge. Yeah, so if the intention is to gain self-knowledge, it will always be rewarded. But if we just quit because, oh, this is not fun, or the fun part kind of wears out, so we're like, okay, let me start a new hobby or a new job because it's going to be exciting. At the beginning, everything is exciting. It's just that with repetition, as time passes, things change. So we cannot rely on finding happiness out there, just chasing after excitement. We have to look at our own mind. So what is it that is making us quit this path and then go on to the next path? Because that mindset will not bring us happiness, because we will always be searching for more and more. And the mind that is always searching, that means it will never arrive. It will never find what it is that it is searching. So in Buddhism, we pay attention to the workings of the mind through and through. And once we weigh our options and find out what is true happiness, so we stick to the path and go forward, overcoming any obstacles. Yeah, just like water, even though it looks very soft, and yeah, it's soft, but it's yielding and taking the shape and form of anything that enters, like Estefania explained to us. But that is so powerful when it continues again and again, persistently, it will wear away the stone. So that's the power that only people who persevere and stick with it will be able to experience that joy of um, being there and persevering through it all. So yeah, good job everyone for being here. Thank you again, Estefania, for volunteering. And so today is Thursday. We will have advanced group session in 1 hour. And have a pleasant evening, everyone. Bye.